Inside Football with Bud Wilkinson, head coach of the University of Oklahoma's football team. 15 minutes of fast-moving, exciting highlights of football. The people, its plays, and its problems. Brought to you by your National Guard, a strong force of citizen soldiers and airmen. On the ground and in the air, they serve with pride on America's first line of defense. And now, here's Bud Wilkinson.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be with you. You know, sometimes when you're at a football game and the down in yardage is 3rd and 8 and the offensive team fails to gain, you know that on the next play in punt formation, they will have to kick the ball. The defensive team digs in, rushes hard, and blocks the punt. The pursuing linemen pick it up, apparently are in the clear for a touchdown, but the kicker made a great recovery to prevent the score.
Bud, from the stands, it looks like every kick will be blocked, and yet few of them actually are.
Well, that results, Howard, from the fact that the defensive team, in rushing the kicker, usually gets quite close to him. Let's go out on the practice field and watch a kicker move forward. You can see that he comes approximately 2.5 yards straight ahead. 2 short steps and the ball dropped out in front of him. If you rush directly at him, you miss the ball entirely. It's dangerous to rush at him also because if you bump into him and knock him down, it's a 15-yard penalty. Anticipate how far forward he will come and move in front of where the ball will travel after it is kicked. If you come at the right angle, it is easy to block a punt. Let's repeat the block punt play with stop frame action. The circle indicates the spot that the kicking team would like to protect. If they can keep that area clear, the punt will get away downfield nicely. However, the defensive men will always make an effort to penetrate into that area. If they are successful, they will block the kick. The defensive end has penetrated the circle. His hands and arms are in position to block the ball as it leaves the kicker's foot. By penetrating the area, he has blocked the kick and made it possible for his teammate to recover the ball, break into the clear momentarily, and almost score the touchdown.
More about football right after this message about the National Guard.
In any typical American community, you'll find a unit of the Army National Guard, made up of citizens who take time each week to train for the defense of their country. And believe me, they're well equipped too. For example, here's a rocket launcher we borrowed for you to see. One man can carry it, yet it can penetrate 11 inches of armor at 900 yards. And believe me, our guardsmen know how to use it. But the National Guard unit in my hometown is only one of many similar units all over the country, ready to defend America at all times. In World War II, men like these stormed the beaches at Anzio, took part in the great victories in Normandy and at the Rhine. The Army National Guard is the readiest of America's reserve forces, a vital part of our defense team. Remember, it pays to keep your guard up.
But it looks like blocking a kick would hurt.
Well, actually, Howard, there really isn't much of any way you can get hurt if you get hit with a football. Of course, it's made of leather, but being filled with air, it's quite resilient, and if it hits you, it bounces. So about the only way that possibly could hurt you would be if it hits you right flush in the nose. And of course, today, most football players wear that little single bar attached to their helmet that comes across their nose to protect them. But when you go in to block a punt, you should never put your hands out in this position, because if you do, it's possible that that ball would fly right up between your hands and hit you in the face. If you'll, instead of having your hands spread, simply cross them, you cover just as much surface, and now, having the hands crossed, the ball can never penetrate and hit you in the face. Actually, there are not too many people injured playing football, in spite of what some people think.
Well, how about the stories in the newspaper about football injuries, Bud?
Well, it all depends the meaning that you put on the term injury. Most of us, when we read in the newspaper of a person being injured, think in terms of an automobile accident where a person was truly mangled. But when a football player is injured, it simply means that he can't play in the game on Saturday. Actually, he can probably fulfill all of his normal duties, and you wouldn't even know that he was hurt. He walks well. I guess he could even dance. And he certainly doesn't appear to be injured. But when you see him on the practice field, he cannot run full speed. Thus, in football parlance, he is an injured player.
Oh, but I've seen the training room and the full-time trainer and all that tape that he uses. Something must go on in there.
Well, the reason that we use so much tape, essentially, is to try to prevent injuries. When a boy does get hurt, he misses practice and he misses games. So almost everything that we do is devoted to the prevention of injuries rather than the cure of them. We try, of course, to treat them if a boy does get hurt, but we'd far prefer that he did not get hurt. And one of the things that most people do today is to wear a different type of cleat when they play games than they use in practice. Now, this round cleat, which is what we use in games and the normal cleat, does stick into the turf very, very well. And if you have that shoe on and your foot is locked in the turf and you get a blow from the side, the chances are that the shoe itself will stick in the turf, and now either the ankle or the knee joint must give. In practice, we try to wear cleats that are oblong, and these cleats do not stick into the ground nearly so well. We slip a little bit and slide when we're wearing these, but in practice that doesn't make too much difference. And now when you have this foot on the ground and you do get that blow from the side, the cleat itself almost always slides. And now there's no injury to the ankle or to the knee because the joint did not have to give, the shoe slipped instead. Let's go out on the practice field and take a look at this close up. The round cleats stick into the turf. When the blow is delivered from the side, the shoe does not slip and the knee or ankle joint will give. The oblong cleats do not penetrate the turf as deeply. A blow from the side simply causes the foot to slip. Actually, one of the most interesting behind-the-scenes activities in football is to watch the trainer taping the ankles of the squad before they go out on the field, either for practice or a game. There are two types of preventive taping used. One is ankle wrap, and the other is actual adhesive tape. Let's watch the University of Oklahoma's trainer, Ken Rawlinson, as he races against time in putting on these ankle wraps. The edges have been marked black so you can follow the contours. The locking tape, 11 seconds. Now preventive ankle taping. The tape affords better protection, but since the ankles must be wrapped or taped every day, the tape has a tendency to make the skin sometimes sore, and we alternate one day taping, another day wrapping. The trainer is quite proficient. 21 seconds. Awareness, mobility, speed. These are key words in football. In order to achieve this in our national defense, America must be on its toes. If you're between the ages of 17 and 25 and have a military obligation, you can fill it by joining your Army National Guard. You will receive valuable technical training while you build a proud career as a citizen soldier. If you are a veteran with a remaining service obligation, complete that obligation while serving with your Army National Guard in your own hometown unit. Remember, as a young man of 17 or over, or a veteran, there's a place for you in America's largest, readiest reserve force. Stop by your local National Guard armory today and get the complete details. It pays in many ways to join the Army National Guard.
Well, Bud, what do you do when a boy actually gets an injured ankle?
Well, of course, we hope he won't, Howard, but if he does, we send him immediately to the training room, and our trainer first applies ultra-high-frequency sound. First, Vaseline is applied, then the sound machine is turned on. The sound waves penetrate the injured ankle. Next, a wet Ace Bandage. It is important that the bandage be wet so that it will not insulate the ice pack. Ice is applied to the joint and held in place with an elastic wrap. The foot is elevated and the ice is kept on for approximately 45 minutes. Then, an analgesic pack is applied. Cotton to keep it warm, the Ace Bandage. The foot is kept in the analgesic pack overnight. The next day, when it is removed, it shows the discoloration of the injury. The first treatment is the whirlpool. The foot is inserted and massaged with the whirling water at a temperature of 98 degrees for 15 minutes. Then deep heat, diathermy heat, to promote healing. When an ankle has been injured, an entirely different type of taping is applied. Again, we have edged the tape in black so that you can follow the contour of the strips. Note that the side strips go up the leg a great deal further than with the normal preventive tape. The short strips are applied around the leg. The purpose of the tape is to provide free movement up and down for the ankle joint, but to eliminate any lateral movement. When the joint is entirely encased in tape, a felt horseshoe is applied to the injured side of the ankle. The felt is taped into place and serves almost as a splint. When the wrap is completed, the foot has good movement up and down, but it cannot be turned to either side to re-injure the ankle. Of course, if an athlete is in good condition, he's not too likely to be hurt. One of the things that's always interested me about truly well-conditioned athletes is that their heart beats more slowly than that of the normal person. This comes about, of course, because the heart, being a muscle, gets more development as they condition themselves for strenuous activity. I'd like to have my good friend Tommy McDonald, our great All-American halfback from the University of Oklahoma, and now the Philadelphia Eagles, join us to conduct a little experiment. I have a microphone here, and I'm going to let you listen to Tommy's heart and then to Howard's heart. Tommy's heartbeat is approximately 55 times per minute. Now we'll switch the mic over to Howard and let you listen to his heart.
You win, Tom.
I'm sure most of you know that the normal person's pulse rate is 72 beats a minute, or approximately that. Howard's, being a little nervous, is 76 as of now. Of course, when they exercise, the good athlete does not increase his pulse rate nearly as quickly as the less well-conditioned person. If you jump up and down just a little bit, then I think that we can test your heart again and see how much the pulse rate has picked up. We'll listen to Tommy's first. And as you can tell, it is not beating a great deal faster, if any, than it was when he was rested and we listened to it the first time. But moving over to Howard here, not being in nearly as good condition, his pulse rate has jumped considerably. Of course, it's not possible for those of us in a normal walk of life to maintain the same physical peak required for competitive athletics. But we do meet competitive situations almost every day. We'll be better able to deal with them if we maintain sensible health rules and keep ourselves in reasonably good condition. We'll be happier, healthier, and lead more productive lives. It's been a great pleasure to be with you.
Inside Football features Bud Wilkinson and Howard Newman. Executive producer, Ned Hockman. Produced at Southwest Film Center. Inside Football is brought to you as a public service in support of your National Guard.